Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back. In this video, we are looking at the Monday night showdown picks between the Buccaneers and the Giants. Hopefully, you guys all had a great Sunday. It was a great week 8 for us Sunday-wise. We cashed in every single slate that I posted, which has yet to happen this year and probably will not happen again. But hey, it was fun. Went 8 for 8 with the 1 p.m., afternoon, main, and showdowns cashed on both sites. So that was awesome. Used the same cores and players that I talked about. The main lineup was Burrow with McKinnon, Bernard. Metcalf was huge. Had Keenan Allen. AJ Green was disappointing, but had Kamara, Bryant, and the Saints defense to round that out. And coming off of a Thursday night football win as well. It's been a really, really good week 8 for us. So hopefully you guys also had a good week. If you use the website, I know you guys made some money this weekend, and let's keep it going tonight. So if you want to join the team, you can visit the website. It is in the description or dfsprocess.net. If you want to follow me on Twitter, it's at the DFS Process. If you want to check out Thrive Fantasy, that info is in the description as well. And without further ado, let's get started. So, like always, appreciate if you guys hit the like button on the video before we get into it. We have a somewhat fun game. I mean, the Buccaneers offense is so fun to watch. They are missing Chris Godwin today, so it's going to open up the door for Mike Evans to be the primary receiver on the team. So Godwin's already missed a couple games this year. He missed weeks 4 and 5 and missed week 2. And in those weeks is when Mike Evans has been pretty fine. In 4 and 5, he had 28 fantasy points, 15 fantasy points, and 26. So averaging over 20 fantasy points in games that Chris Godwin has missed. And that is what you would expect. This Giants pass defense is complete garbage. So Tom Brady, who has been slinging the ball extremely well recently, been super hot. He's had some huge games. Expect him to once again have a really, really strong game. He's been probably in the conversation for MVP right now. So really love Tom Brady. I like him to pair with Mike Evans. Daniel Jones looks okay at 13.8, definitely behind Brady. He has been better as over the last couple games, and that's mainly because of his rushing yards. Like, I do not expect him to have longs of 80 and 49 every single game. So he got it done those weeks. He got 7.4 fantasy points against Washington with his legs, and he got 8 with his legs against Philly. We'll see. If you can fit him in, I guess that's okay, but I am not going to. I mean, I don't think he's like the best play on the Giants just because he is expensive. If you look at the snap count, Scotty Miller last week played about 60% of the snaps. If you look at the weeks that Chris Godwin missed, he has been playing about 53. They had Justin Watson play a lot in week 4. In week 5, Scotty Miller does play a lot in the slot, so that could be a reason. But in week 5, played about 63, and they had Johnson play. That was a week that Justin Watson missed. But week 7, Justin Watson did not play that much. It was Johnson who played more. So you could look at Watson as a punt play. He's still getting, he's still going to play a little bit, but we'll see with Godwin out. But they could be shifting to Johnson a bit more, and he is way more expensive. So just like right off the bat, I'm not that interested in. Well, 4,800 is fine. I was looking at captain. 4,800 is fine for him if you want, because he's going to be, getting him more targets tonight with no Godwin. So he looks like a good cheap play. You could look at Watson if you want as another cheap play, because he's gonna, take a step up in the pecking order. On the Giants side, last week was a week that Sterling Shepard made his return. He played about 77% of the snaps, which is nice to see. Slayton played the most, and then you had Golden Tate play about just under half the snaps. So on DraftKings, Tate is only 3K. I guess he looks strong still. He had 1 catch. Looks strong as a value play. I'm not going to be going crazy with him, especially if I don't need the salary relief, but he looks fine as a cheap play. You have Leonard Fournette at only 6,200. It's always tough trying to figure out who's going to have the better game between Fournette and Ronald Jones. They both play a similar amount. It's basically just go with who you think. I think that Fournette looks pretty good at his $6,200 price tag. I mean, if you want to look at the snap counts from last week, see that both kind of played similar. It's basically kind of the hot hand approach for them in Tampa Bay. Fournette played a little bit more, but once again, if like Jones had a better start to the game, he could have played more. So really, it's not too much to tell from one game to the next. I do like Shepard's price on DraftKings 66. He is going to play more. Might even play more than he did last week because that was his first game action in like 5 weeks. So 66 for him. I think he looks strong. I think Slayton looks okay as well. I like Shepard a little bit more, and then Gallman looks really good at 5,200. He's probably my favorite player on the Giants just because he's going to play a lot because no Devontae Freeman. He is going to be the bell cow for the team. He's not like the best yards per carry runner, but he can catch passes. He's going to be a factor if they happen to get into the red zone. So he looks really good at a cheap play. You could look at both kickers, especially the Giants' offense has struggled to capitalize when they're inside the red zone or inside the opponent's 50. So you could look at Graham Gano as a kicker. I think just like last night with Greg Zuerlein, had him in there in my lineups because I did not expect the Cowboys to really get into the end zone too much. Expected them to kind of get stalled with that rookie quarterback, and ended up working out. So I think tonight you could look at Graham Gano from the Giants side. And then I don't know if you will need to go super cheap, but if you did, Watson is in play today because he is going to probably split some of their third wide receiver work with Johnson. I'm expecting maybe 30-40% of snaps for him. So that's basically the players that I'm interested in. Let's look at some potential builds that we can use tonight. So we'll try one with an expensive captain. Like going cheap at captain has worked sometimes with Showdown, like it did last Thursday with Curtis Samuel. If you played him at Showdown like I had in the video, it worked out really nicely. But we'll see if we can make one with Mike Evans at captain. Pair him with Tom Brady. You have 5,400 left, and that's where you kind of get some of the value plays like Gallman in there at 5,200. You can go up a bit for Shepard, who's only 6,600. And you still have plenty of salary cap. So if you do an expensive captain, you're probably not going to have the ability to fit in Daniel Jones, which is not the worst thing in the world. Tampa Bay's defense is really, really good. Could even consider the Buccaneers' defense tonight just because they have been. Daniel Jones is not good under pressure. He fumbles a lot. He's a turnover machine. So you could look at the Bucs defense. But with the $5,000 left over, maybe look at a potential kicker and then play Leonard Fournette. So kind of have a nice balance with at least you get two pieces on the Giants side. If they are able to move the ball, it could definitely be from Shepard and Gallman, and then you kind of have a nice little stack between Tom Brady, Mike Evans, and Leonard Fournette. So this looks pretty strong to me. If you wanted to go with a different way and then maybe go with like maybe a Leonard Fournette at captain, then you would be able to fit in Brady, Evans, maybe even Miller, and then go with like Gallman, and then go with one of the kickers. You are really going heavy on the Bucs side, but they should be able to put up some points tonight. So really, I don't think you need to go super cheap tonight with like Watson or Braid or anything like that. I think you definitely have the ability to pay up a captain a bit and then still make a pretty solid team. So I kind of like what I had originally. We'll see if I can make one with Tom Brady at captain, with Evans, with still with Gallman in there. He's my favorite player on the Giants just because the volume should be there. Shepard, Fournette, and then maybe Golden Tate. If you don't want to play a kicker, you can kind of really do a nice balance, something like this. So I think with the way that it's looking, I'm definitely not going to go super cheap at captain. I think I can make it work with going Tom Brady at captain or Mike Evans at captain. And then I'll try to, like Scotty Miller's the other wide receiver that I would like to get on the Bucs side, but 8,600, he's not like super cheap. So if I can't get to him, it's not the end of the world. I like Shepard on the Giants side, and I like Fournette just based on his price tag. So that about does it for the DraftKings side. Let's touch on Fanduel tonight. Okay, no surprise. On Fanduel, Tom Brady is your most expensive guy at 16.5, followed by Daniel Jones, which I am kind of iffy on against this tough defense. I like Mike Evans. Definitely like Evans a ton. Jones, iffy on a bit just based on the price tag. And then Gallman is a little bit more expensive than he is on DraftKings, like a lot more at 11.5. But we'll see if we can make it work with him in there. And then you have a very cheap Sterling Shepard. You have both kickers cheap. And then you have Golden Tate if he tickles your fancy. But I'm kind of looking at the same kind of guys that I like on DraftKings. Like, that's what I did yesterday. Like, I used the same core on DraftKings I did on FanDuel. I like to have the same players in my lineups. I like to root for the same players. I don't want to play guys on opposing teams. So Yeah, it worked out really, really nicely yesterday. Today we'll see what we can kind of do. Like Tom Brady at captain looks strong. Him or Mike Evans, I think. Definitely gonna have both of them in there though. Brady, Evans, and then we're left with still a solid amount, almost $10,000 left. We can definitely get to Sterling Shepard at 9,000. We can get to Scotty Miller if you want to really stack that side up. Fournette is also affordable at 10,000. And then you have 10-5 left. You're going to miss out on getting to Gallman by a little bit. That's a sad a bit. If you wanted to play Gallman instead of Shepard, you could do that and then play the kicker, Graham Gano. That's basically the perfect salary cap. But I really think on Fanduel I'll kind of build around definitely Brady, Evans, and then maybe Gallman just because he's going to get some carries. He's going to get some targets. You kind of feel safe about him. It's tough to kind of nail down who will go off between Shepard and Slayton. Tate, I don't think is going to go off because he doesn't play that. I mean, he's not going to play like 100% of the snaps like those guys, or like 80% of the snaps like those guys probably will. But Gallman is going to be out there a lot. He got 15 touches last week. Let's see how many touches Freeman got before he exited. He got about 3 touches. So could be looking at 15 to 20 touches out of Gallman. And just for that reason alone, I think he looks strong. So that's pretty much it for me. Thank you for watching. I appreciate it. And best of luck tonight.